Literally. In a land of likes, leggings, and lattes comes a podcast hosted by two basic beings, Bekah and Maddie. This is the Basic Bee Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that we have a guest.
Once again.
Yes, this is Natasha.
Hi.
And she's one of my really good friends. We've been friends for 6 years, 7 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Since I was in the apartment. So that's at least 7 years. 7, 8 years we worked together. And then we only worked together a year. And we've been friends for at least 7. So that has to say something.
I would say so. Or hope so, I guess.
Yes.
Should say.
And which job did you work at together?
We worked at a call center.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I only was there for a year. How long were you there?
I was there for a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And
way too long.
For student loans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And now you're in the legal field.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to answer all my lawyer advice if I ever need it.
That's fine. Just pay me in Starbucks and we'll call you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Are you a lawyer?
I wanted to go to law school. I actually got accepted to law school after I got a job. So I wanted to...
Oh, that's amazing.
Make money as opposed to getting more debt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm a paralegal, which I get to do everything a lawyer does without all the debt. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a paralegal, but she does not like her job right now.
Really?
So, yeah.
It's a tough time right now.
Yeah, why is that?
Just COVID, a lot of firms had layoffs and furloughs.
Oh.
And then so they're starting to bring people back and then hire people on. But then people like myself, I got laid off from the firm I was at last year, which was a creditors' rights firm like I'm at now because of COVID. So I was a little leery coming back into the field, but I mean, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's what I went with.
I guess we should start from kind of the beginning with you because people are probably listening why is Natasha on? So I guess tell about yourself and we'll save the topic for later.
Okay. So yeah, my name's Natasha. I've been in Indiana my whole life. I grew up from Zionsville. I'm not the typical Zionsville person, as people may say. I'll say that.
You're not snobby?
No. I grew up in a trailer, and my first car was not brand new. So it was actually easy to find in the parking lot, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Because of the sun spots and everything. It was the only not shiny car.
Did you have any duct tape on there?
No, I did not have duct tape. I had
Okay.
some chicken wire.
Oh.
Because my grandpa believed that chicken wire could fix anything. So
Oh, okay.
Not duct tape.
no.
Okay.
No.
Well, you kind of looked like a South Sider then.
Gotcha. No, I'm definitely from the north. I don't like to claim it, but
This probably only makes sense to people from Indiana, but
yeah.
anyway. Okay, so you're a paralegal.
Mhm.
You've been in some interesting relationships.
That I have.
So we'll talk about that more later, but I guess we should start with our recent obsessions.
Yes. So why don't you go first and we'll go around this way.
Okay, so my recent obsessions have been corn dogs. I've eaten 6 this past week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I discovered the fair corn dogs at the store that you keep in the freezer.
Mhm.
And I don't know, they're just really slapping right now.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I don't eat corn dogs with any condiments.
Really?
Weirdly.
Not mustard even?
I would eat mustard, but I just am too lazy for that, I think. But I've been really loving corn dogs. And then my second obsession is this Instagram called Barbie Style. I think it's called Barbie Style or Barbie Styled. But it's basically they set Barbies up as influencers almost, and then they have new outfits every day, and it shows their little...
Someone has too much time.
Yeah. I have too much time to be looking at it, but I've been very obsessed because it's so cute, and it's probably $1,000 cameras taking pictures of Barbies.
Oh my gosh.
And all of their details.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Those are my two.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm almost done with the whole Harry Potter series, reading it through.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm
Dang.
500 pages away, and I have it on my iPad. So when I bought the series, it was page 1 of 2,700, and so I'm at 2,300 or something right now.
Right.
So I'm super close to being done. But I'm slowing down because I think it's the end, and I'm like, I don't want it to end. So that's kind of my obsession. And then antique earrings. Not that I'm wearing any today, but I found a bunch of earrings my grandma gave me, and they're like actually like coming back into style now. Wow. So I'm like, okay.
Are there any with cameos on them?
No.
Oh.
No. They're mostly hoops and like gold and
like this.
Yeah.
But actual gold.
I don't know, but I was really upset because one of them fell out at work today.
Oh.
So I got nervous and took both of them, and like I found it, but I took both of them out and I left them on my desk. So I was like, I hope they're not real gold because someone could snatch those. But.
Yeah, you should have figured out if they're real.
Well, what is it, like you're supposed to bite it or something?
Something like that.
Like see if you make imprints.
Maybe that's diamonds.
I don't know. But
I don't know.
Did you know your grandma, Dawn's mom, Carolyn?
Mm-hmm.
She gave me a real gold necklace that I still have, and my dad's like, you should get that tested and see, because like Carolyn sometimes is a little crazy.
I have no idea where she got that. I don't recall.
She gave me and my dad some Iranian money too.
Oh yeah, she's obsessed with dinar because she thinks that Iranian money is going to revalue and she's going to be a millionaire. So for the last 10 years, she keeps saying, any day now, it's going to revalue.
I know, I think she gifted me some of that and that gold necklace as a graduation gift.
Aww. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But yeah, so maybe we could bite that. I don't know. Yeah. Break our teeth.
Yeah.
Well, I say that because like Simone Biles, like the commercial, it's her like biting her gold medal. Yeah. So that's what like makes me think that that's how you test it. I don't know.
I've definitely heard something about biting gold, but I don't know what the actual test is. But anyway, what's your recent obsession?
My recent obsession, I'm watching Sons of Anarchy for the second time.
Okay.
I've heard of that.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. You have to watch it. Anyone who hasn't, definitely.
Is it on Netflix?
Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay, I have that.
And it's much better the second time around. Like, you catch a lot more things.
Oh, have you seen Breaking Bad?
I started I couldn't get into it.
I couldn't get into Breaking Bad either.
I'm always so shocked when people say that because it's like my favorite thing ever. And
really?
Watching it back for a second time, it's just like that. There's so many details that they thought about that you can appreciate.
Yeah.
But what's the gist of Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, they're like a motorcycle club based in California. Mm-hmm. And they are like the gun trade deal, and they do a lot of bad things.
Oh.
But the guys are really hot, especially the main character.
So you're into bikers?
I've never dated one. Oh, but after Sons of Anarchy, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Knowing how they are.
So it's a drama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Got it. Maybe I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
It can be a little gory though, so if you don't like blood and stuff,
I don't mind.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I love the zombie show, Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine then.
Yeah. Have you watched that at all?
Mm-mm. I haven't. But you also are a huge Grey's Anatomy fan too.
Yes.
I still have not started it.
I haven't either.
What?
I know, it's like a basic B show, but
yeah.
No. We're terrible. We're terrible bees.
I'm watching it for like the 6th or 7th time right now. Like I'm not even joking. Like I own all the seasons through 13 on DVD. Yeah, I own DVDs still.
So does she.
Yeah, I still. Hey, you never know.
Exactly.
It's gonna be cash someday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe. Now they're all on Netflix, so it's even better.
Well, when Netflix goes down, and like I said, when Russia hacks the grid,
exactly,
you're gonna be rich because of your DVDs.
Yeah.
Especially if you have Grey's Anatomy. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a hot commodity.
Yeah.
But it just looks so cheesy to me whenever I see snippets. I'm like, this is just a straight up soap opera.
It's gotten cheesier as like the years have gone on. Like the original years were the best. I would say like seasons 1 through 7 are probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's how Walking Dead is. The first seasons are amazing, and then it just goes downhill.
Yeah, I think shows sometimes don't know when to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But like they do a good job sometimes revamping it. Like.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but I need to watch it because I hear about it all the time. I need to be in the know.
Yes.
So
I know Meredith Grey is a character.
She's like my twin.
Really?
I like to say, yeah. Dark and twisty, like
dark and twisty.
Dark and twisty, issues with love life.
What does that mean?
It just means like you're really like aware of your feelings
Yeah.
and like what's around you. So you go in a dark and twisty place sometimes just to like get away and like evaluate, and then you come back out and you're fine.
Oh.
So
Okay. I'm very intrigued now.
Yes.
I want to go watch that. Do you have any other obsessions?
I would say my other obsession is probably trying to decorate like a country chic theme. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
Hobby Lobby has been my go-to right now.
Especially when everything's 50% off.
Yes.
Yeah, my mom called me last week and she had bought 7 new paintings. And she's like, they were only $220. She's like,
A ton.
I know, but she was like, so that means I saved $220.
That's what they want you to think.
And so then she was like, well, anyway, we need to go back Saturday and get more. And I'm like, who needs more than 7 new paintings?
Wait, do you have wall space for it all? That's what I would ask.
I think she took some stuff down because she's trying to do the country theme a little bit too.
Gotcha.
And so she took some of hers down and we went to the store and she got 4 new things.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like, I'm talking to my dad on the phone and my dad's like, yeah, I'm going back up to Hobby Lobby. And so she went back again on Saturday, like, twice. And I was like, you crazy.
Too much.
Yeah.
That's addiction.
Nothing wrong with that. I
But
mean,
yeah.
saying.
What's your favorite chic purchase from Hobby Lobby recently?
Country chic.
Country chic.
I would say, like, you've been to my place. Like, you know my portrait wall?
Yeah.
I would say, like, I just love that. Especially the sign that says, hey, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Because
That's
around
cute.
here, people don't really say y'all, but I
Yeah.
Really?
do.
I say y'all.
I say y'all.
I feel like it's a southern thing. I don't know.
I feel like Indiana is the very north of the South.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But there's just a lot of rednecks here, and I don't think people associate Indiana with rednecks who aren't from
Mhm.
here, but
True.
there's a lot. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. But all right, so I think Bekah should introduce this week's.
Well, real quick, we got to ask her what we ask all of our guests. What's
Oh, I
your
forgot.
go-to coffee order from Starbucks? This is important information.
It is.
It is.
I forgot.
Well, it depends right now because, you know, they're all having different shortages. So
Yeah, what's with the Starbucks shortages?
I can't get green tea anywhere.
Really?
Florida, Kentucky, here, Georgia, I couldn't. Like
Is
last
really?
week. Yeah, it's insane.
Do you get unsweet green tea?
Sweetened. And sometimes I
Really?
get like a shot of peach or something in it.
Oh,
So I like that in the summer.
Okay.
Java chip frappuccino is always a good one.
of course.
Usually venti on a Friday morning.
Mhm.
Or just a blonde vanilla latte, iced.
Oh, a vanilla latte is classic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get
Classy.
whole milk?
No,
What do you get?
whatever they put in it. I don't know.
Oh, I think they use 2% actually. We use whole milk at my coffee shop, so I always ask what milk people want. But you know, some people like oat milk or whatever.
Gotcha.
But I love tea, so
Mhm.
I agree with you there.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
What was your other?
What's the most basic thing about you?
Ooh,
What makes you a basic bee?
what makes me a basic bee? I just say I'm a homebody. Like,
Yeah.
I'm simple. I like to be at home with my dog, sitting on my
That's
balcony.
the basic
You're a
bee
dog.
right there.
You're a dog mom.
I'm a dog
that
mom.
counts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sitting on my balcony, glass of wine.
Drink a glass of wine.
Yeah. You watch The Bachelorette.
Yes, every Monday night.
Yes.
What do you think of this season, briefly?
It's annoying.
I'm over
Thank
it.
you.
Annoying.
Yeah. I don't want to, bore the listeners who don't watch it, but I officially think it's the worst season ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can stop there.
Yeah, I used to actually look forward to Monday nights, and now I'm like,
Yep.
whatever. Now, but I am on my Big Brother kick, so.
I've never watched that.
I used to watch it like way back when.
This
but
season looks really good, so.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
take the lead.
now we can introduce the topic, which is narcissism.
Yes.
And I'm going to briefly explain what a narcissist is. And we're going to hear some stories because Natasha has dated at least 2
Mm-hmm.
narcissists. And these stories are very interesting. Maddie has never heard them.
Yeah, I've been
you're
making
in
them
for a
not
treat.
talk about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yes, it's crazy and your mouth will drop several times. Okay? And then we're going to do a fun little test at the end and see if these guys I have an article 10 signs you're dating a narcissist. So we're going to see if they match. And I think that as of right now, from the stories I've heard about these men, I think each one of them are going to get all 10. I think they're going to display all 10 signs you're dating a narcissist. But yeah.
Okay.
So narcissistic personality disorder is a mental condition in which people have inflated sense of their own importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, troubled relationships, and a lack of empathy for others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence lies a fragile self-esteem that's vulnerable to the slightest criticism. And then it just says, people who have narcissistic personality disorder have many issues such as work, relationships, school, and finances. So, and they're generally just unhappy people. So,
Okay.
yeah, they say that the best thing for a narcissist is psychotherapy. So,
What does that mean?
talk therapy is what the article, which is Mayo Clinic.
When I hear psychotherapy, I picture like wires and drills into your brain.
I mean, some people do
Maybe.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe. I mean, you don't know. Okay, so we have code names to protect the identities of our narcissists today.
Okay.
And do you want to talk about our first one and just share the story?
Yeah, so first one is going to be boy A. We'll call him.
And not man A, because he was a boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a man.
just-
He doesn't even deserve that at this point. So boy A and I met back in 2014.
Okay.
We were both working at the Marion County Jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
mom worked there.
Jail 1 or Jail 2?
I don't know, but
She
she
was
worked
a
in
911.
processing.
Operator.
Well, she was
Right.
911 operator first, but then they moved her to processing, like
Okay.
when the people first get in. But
It's probably the AP center behind Jail 2.
I have no
That's what I'm
idea.
thinking.
But she claims that they broke her brain because the people she worked with were so awful. What did you do there?
I started as a correctional officer. That
Oh
was
my
the
gosh.
job I got out of college.
I didn't know that you were a CO.
Yeah.
I can't believe Bekah left that out.
Well, this is an important... You said not to tell you anything.
Okay.
Yeah, you wanted to get the full
Yeah.
reaction, so here you go.
I'm shook. All right.
Yeah. So I started as a CO, then I promoted to case manager, to kind of do the legal thing. And then eventually I was a master scheduler, which I was in charge of like everyone's PTO and like their schedules. And I was the equivalent of like a lieutenant on the admin side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you met him there?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. We were both working there. Our first date was at a bar, like totally casual. It was during the daytime, like bar in the daytime. So like no expectations. We hit it off and like, it was really great. Like the first, I would say year and a half, he was probably
Oh, wow.
really great.
That's a while.
Yeah, for a narcissist especially. We'll just say that. And then he got a job that he's currently in, which is law enforcement.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And that's really when it started to affect him, I would say. It went to his head.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I think
Power.
he was a good person. Yeah, he just loved the power and loved the authority and thought he could do whatever and say whatever, and that even meant to me. Which, hindsight's 20/20. So I, put up with a lot that I shouldn't have. A lot of emotional abuse. He never hit me, which I'm
That's
very
good.
grateful for, because a lot of
Yeah.
narcissists are physically abusive to their victims. Basically, I'm a victim is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think emotional abuse is just as bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the demise of our relationship it started in February 2017. One of my good guy friends found him on a dating site on Facebook.
And by that point, how long had you been dating? Like 3 years almost?
Almost 3 years.
That was a long time.
Yeah.
So what was the first sign that you realized something was off that you think?
I would say probably that year before in 2016 when we went to California. That's where his family's from. And he just seemed like a stranger to me. Like, when we'd be around his friends, it was all about them. Like, I was kind of like on the side, which at first, like the other times, I was like, that's okay. Like, he never gets to go home, it's fine. But then it not only happened on vacation, but it started happening at home. Everything and everyone was more important.
Yeah, you were like low on the priority list.
Yeah, he wanted to be everyone's hero but me, is what a lot of people say. And, like, we have a dog. We got a dog together. I still have the dog, which, funny story, my dad has a dog that he got with his first wife. And my brother's ex-girlfriend has a cat that we both got together. So his MO is, getting animals and leaving.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just put that out there.
That's a true psychopath.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and it got pretty bad. We broke up in November of 2017, and I had found out about a couple months later that he had been cheating on me. Yeah.
So you found out after you broke up with him. How did you break up with him?
He went out on a Friday night, and then a Saturday morning, he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'm just not in this anymore. Like, it's not you, it's me. Like, I just want to do my own thing. Like, I'm not over my ex-wife who he divorced before we got together.
Yeah.
So it was just, like, hindsight 2020, like, it was just a whole bunch of excuses because he was trying to cover up that he was a cheater and he didn't want to admit it.
Yeah.
And a couple of months later, they got engaged, I think, in April of 2018, like 4 or 5 months after we broken up.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And she was stupid and, like, posted something on Facebook about how long they had been together. So that confirmed that he cheated. I called him out on it.
How long was the overlap? Like, she said, like, 8 months, and you had broken up, like, 5 months ago or something?
I would say they got together probably July or August of 2017, and we broke up in November of 2017.
Yeah.
How did he maintain that?
He was very slick. Like,
but she knew what he was doing.
She
correct?
had to.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure
you
she
guys
did.
lived together, so.
What?
And she was still
How?
married while with him. I found out she got divorced after they got engaged.
They're perfect for each
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I wonder how that's gonna go.
I don't know, but she can have him because he's one of the worst people. Like, after we broke up, he still tormented me.
Yeah.
Why? I thought he was over you.
He never got over you. He never got over his ex-wife either.
Yeah.
So.
He would, like, leave stuff under my truck because we worked downtown, so he had to do rounds in the parking garage. He would, like, leave trash under my truck, like, and I knew it was him because it'd be, like, his favorite animal crackers that are iced or, like, his favorite bag of chips. He keyed my truck with the letter A, and it was, like, right at, like, hip level where he could just do it and no one would see. He put a tracker on my phone.
Oh,
we found out.
Gosh.
Yeah, for several months, every morning when my coworker and I would go to Starbucks, he would be walking up the street. And we're like, how? Like, why is this happening? No matter, we would change the times. It was the creepiest thing ever. And then I finally gave my phone to one of the attorneys because he's, like, a tech guru. And he's like, do you know what this is? It was, like, an app. I was like, no. And no kidding, as soon as we deleted that app, I never saw him again going to get coffee. But then he figured it out, I think, apparently, because to this day, I'm 99% sure he broke into my apartment. I think he made a copy of the key. And because I came home one day and my Alexa was blaring Disturbed, which is his favorite band, and there's no reason it should be blaring music. One, I don't listen to that. Two, I never had the volume that high. And he had moved stuff, and even our dog, like, well, my dog now, he, like, came up to me, like, his tail was between his legs. Like, he was freaked out.
Was your dog scared of him?
Yeah, this is, like, the biggest red flag ever.
Yeah.
Like, the day I brought our dog home, because he was working, you know, naturally, so I had to pick out the dog, which was fine. The dog wanted to eat him alive as soon as he walked through the door. And people say that dogs are the best judges of character.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah. And so that should have been my biggest flag. But I just like, oh, he's, like, in uniform, you know, maybe it's intimidating, whatever. But
well, and he was a rescue. You didn't know, like, what kind of abusive background the dog could have had. Like, if he, like, Pepper, my dog is, like, scared of men when she first meets them. So I think, like, something may have happened. I don't know. She does better now. Like, when Danny did his interview, she was fine with him. So I don't know, but she doesn't like men.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So did your dog ever get used to him, or did the dog tolerate him?
The dog, I would say, tolerated him because even he would, like, yank him on the leash and, like, smack him on the head. Like, he took advantage of, like, being a bigger person than a dog, which is pathetic.
Yeah.
That is insane.
He sounds like a pathetic person in general.
Do you think that you were clouded by love and that's why you waited so long, like, to end the relationship officially?
I do, and then I think he had beaten me down so much psychologically that I just couldn't. I mean, Rebecca knows, like, how I was. Like, I was bad. Like, I barely wanted to do anything. Like, I didn't want to hang out with people because he would get mad when I would hang out with people.
Yeah.
That's
so it just got to the
sign.
point where I was like, okay, I'll just stay home. Like,
yeah, because I remember, like, we always would have to go to your place, and it felt like because he had to watch you, and like he wouldn't trust you to like come to my house.
Yep.
Like, I do remember that.
Why did he have trust issues when he was the one cheating?
Exactly.
Because he's a narcissist.
So how does this lead back to narcissism, do you think?
The power thing was one of his
Yeah.
biggest things.
Yeah.
And then gaslighting is really big with narcissists.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, he would say things and make it my fault or like turn it on me, like
Yeah.
even though it's something he did.
To make you think that you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And talk down to me and treat me like I'm basically nothing because I'm an empath.
Uh-huh.
Like, I have the biggest heart. It's my best and worst trait.
Yeah.
So he fed off of that, I think is what it was. And he drained
Wow.
me until
Yeah.
he found her, and then...
Now he'll just drain her too. But yeah, because they say one of the biggest things with narcissists is they're not empathetic at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you probably had to overcompensate for
Yeah.
him, like not being able to show you any empathy at all. And like you said, it beats you down. Like
Mm-hmm.
you probably, like didn't think that you were worthy of someone better, which you definitely are.
Thanks.
They say like sociopaths know how to imitate emotions. Do you
Mhm.
think that he had any sociopathic behavior at all?
Oh, for sure. Looking back now, like one of the first stories he told me, which should have been a big red flag. I don't know
Looking
if I
back, but it's looking back.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't think when you're like clouded.
You can make excuses and justifications
Yeah.
for behaviors when you're in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like probably one of the biggest ones was he was in the military,
Mhm.
right?
Oh my gosh, he was in the military and law enforcement.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awful.
He was in the Navy, so they would go around
Mhm.
to different ports. He told me that him and his buddies would do this thing called hogging.
You did tell me about this.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Yeah,
What does that
this
mean?
is the worst, like most despicable thing I think like can happen to a girl
Mhm.
besides being cheated on. Him and his like crewmates would go to the bar at different ports. They would each try to find like the biggest girl in the bar. They would put money in a pot, and then they would try to go home with her. And then if they spent the night and did the deed
Mm-hmm.
and took a picture, whoever was successful got the money or like split the money, and they called it hogging.
When did you find out he did that?
It was probably like a year or so after we started dating, and I didn't think he was serious until I met some of his friends later on who confirmed it was a real thing.
That is
Oh.
so disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
That is like,
He was very disturbed looking.
Yeah.
back now.
do you think that it was like a biological trait of his, or do you think maybe it had something to do with the way he was raised?
I think probably a lot of it had to do with the way he was raised. He was raised like in an abusive home.
Oh, yeah.
His dad like was really abusive to his mom.
Of
So
course.
I think somehow that got innate in his brain, and
Yeah.
he carried it on, sadly.
That's horrible. I was listening to an YouTube video about facts about narcissists for our episode, and one of the facts was being a narcissist. I guess scientists have found it's not biological at all. It has everything to do with your childhood, and I think that's really interesting. So it makes sense that he was raised in an abusive home
Yeah.
because he was so abusive, maybe not physically, but
Yeah.
emotionally to you. But
Yeah.
that is crazy. I can't believe he was
Mhm.
hogging.
Yeah. Would you say, and one of the other narcissistic qualities is that he, or the narcissistic person, seeks like almost words of constant affirmation. Would you say that was his love language, was words of affirmation, or?
Yeah, because like when I mentioned that the demise of our relationship was when I found him on, single dating sites, I
Mhm.
called him out on it. I'm like, why are you doing this? He's like, well, I just have like self-confidence issues. Like I'm worried about gaining weight. And so I just need like encouragement. I was like, I can't give you that. And he's like, well, I forget what he said, but basically like I wasn't enough for him. Like he needed outside people to give him a confidence boost.
So did he walk away from the relationship thinking that he ended it with you, or like how'd you both walk away from it? Like, was it him ending it?
It was him ending it. And then
But he didn't want to end it all the way.
No, because still to this day, he's trying to figure out where I live. Because I finally moved last year, and he's still like asking like our friends and stuff and trying to figure out where I live to this day. Like he won't give up. And that's what narcissists do. Like once they're victims, like are able to, bring themselves up and like get the courage to like walk away and like be a better person, the narcissist will try to like come back and like get their claws on them, which is all the stuff that he's done and still doing.
Yeah.
So you still have mutual friends.
Yeah, I want to say like they're friends, more like acquaintances, but I do have some really good friends that I worked with that like tell me this stuff because they talk to people. And I mean, when you work in law enforcement, like you're a community, like you're really close and you watch each other's backs. So
do you think that he was ever, I don't know how to phrase it. Do you think the power ever got to his head in law enforcement to where he was like abusing his power?
Definitely.
How did that exhibit itself? Or was that the right word? You know what
I'm
asking?
I know what you're asking. So this is really terrible, but he used to say to me, and I don't know why it didn't click back then, but I think just because I was beaten down so much, he used to say, he's like, if I killed you, no one would ever know it's me. And I was like, well, why do you say that? And he's like, I have all this training and blah, 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 and I know how to hide a body. And I'm like, you're the first one they're going to go to. And he's like, no, I know how to talk out of it.
It's so weird.
How does he know he knows how to talk out of it?
I don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
That is a straight up murderer to be.
Mm-hmm.
Ew. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have ever mustered up the courage to leave him, or were you kind of in fear?
I think I was in fear.
Yeah.
Like, especially, like, with him saying that, like, the first few times
That's
I kind of
scary.
blew it off. Like, we'd be watching, like, a show or something. And
It's like a joke.
yeah. But then he kept saying it, and, like, the look in his eye just got more intense, I guess you could say. Like, it wasn't, like, a smile. It wasn't, like, a ha-ha. Like, it was...
a threat, almost.
That is insane.
Without being a threat.
I'm sure that has to do a lot with, his dad probably being abusive to his mom. But, wow.
Yeah.
That's an insane story.
Yes.
It was a lot more scary than I expected.
He was a scary man.
So that was boy A.
Yes.
And he's still in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many other crazy people like that are in law enforcement.
Probably a lot of them, actually, sadly.
Yeah.
So, as a CO, how long were you a CO?
Probably about 2 years.
This is kind of off the subject, but like, what was the craziest thing that you saw as a CO, do you think?
I would say I still remember responding to my first fight. I was on the ERT team, which is the emergency response team.
Mm-hmm.
And I was person number 4. So whenever, like, we would have to do a cell extraction, like, I would always be in charge. I think it was, like, of the right leg. But we went into a dorm where they were basically, like, rioting and fighting. And I remember we went in the back cube, which is one of the most dangerous places because it's off camera and, like, it's confined. So I remember I was there with, like, 3 other team members. It was supposed to be a 5-man team, but they were beating the shit out of this one guy, pardon my language.
It's okay.
You're fine. And so we wanted to get in there, like, we're like, okay, we have enough. But as soon as we got in there, like, we were surrounded by inmates. And I really thought that was going to not be
good.
Good, yeah.
Did you
get outcome.
Did people ever, like, shank people or?
Mm-hmm. They shank people. There's a lot of suicide.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. That'd be scary to see.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Orange is the New Black?
Yes, I did.
I love that show. I know it glamorizes the, whole thing, but
yeah.
I have no desire.
It. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we should move on to the second narcissist that you knew.
Yes.
Yeah. So boy B, him and I were never meant to be in a relationship. He was supposed to kind of be my rebound from boy A.
Mm-hmm.
And then feelings got involved and things got complicated, whatever. Things were good, like, for the first year or so. And then I would say probably a year and a half is when I started to, like, notice, like, okay, like, I need to have my guard up. Like, something isn't right here. But again, I was still kind of processing my breakup from boy A because him and I broke up in November 2017.
Yeah.
My grandfather died February 2018. My aunt died March 2018. My grandma died July 2018. So I really
had a bad year.
It was a really bad year, yeah. I had no time to process it. So I think a lot of that, I don't want to make excuses, but I've gone to therapy, and done the work. And I think a lot of that like not being able to process everything is why I got with boy B, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because he was like a safety net and like a safety guard and that's what I associated him with. But yeah, he was a very selfish person. The more I think about it, like it was all about him. Like at times, like, you know, he would come over like the day that boy A, you know, broke into my apartment. I called him and he came over after work. Like he works mid shift, so it was like 11:30, but he came over. Yeah. Because I needed him. But most of the time I always had to go to his house on his terms at the time for him. And I would like bring him, you know, drinks from Speedway or whatever. Like he loved bangs, you know, and those kind of aren't cheap. I mean,
that adds up.
Yeah. When I'm like living by myself and trying to figure out everything, and he knew that. And, you know, when he would come over the very few times, I'm like, you know, can you go to Starbucks? Like, give me a green tea. And he's like, oh, I don't have the money. Lo and behold, he, you know, was doing illicit things on the side and still does to this time. So that's where his money went. And he cared more about that than, you know, spending $3 on a tea for me.
That's so annoying.
What a winner.
Yeah, I know. I have great radar.
You have good taste.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother issue. But, as time went on, like, he just did things that we would break up, and then he would, like, you know, talk me back in and, like, lure me back in. And it happened, I don't know, how many times would you say?
At least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So this was happening when you were at the call center?
No. I was with boy A, the call center.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, so, you've been with her through it all.
Yes.
Yes. It was always like interesting because me and our other friend, shout out Madeline, we'd kind of be like, he doesn't sound like he's great, and then like
you'd be like encouraging her to
well, like
you don't want to be
there were times when he did sound good too though, like it was kind of
he
back
knew
and
when
forth.
To put it on.
Well, it was, you know, kind of narcissistic qualities here. As soon as he could, like, you could almost threaten to walk away from a narcissist, but until you actually do steps to do it, that's when they reel you back in. They don't care if you threaten it. It's when you maybe not text him back right away. It's, you know, so I felt like he was kind of doing that. And then, like you said, not making you a priority. So, and like, you guys weren't official for a while. Like, right?
No,
like,
not at first, because I was, you know, dealing with all my personal stuff. And then we got official, and then we broke up, and then we'd be back together. And it was very inconsistent.
Yeah, but you'd only, like, see you once a month, right? Or once or twice a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was so worried. Like, I was like, oh, it's okay. You know, he has a son, so I, like, want him to spend time with his son and this and that. But the more, like, I've talked to people, they're like, you know, if he wanted to, like, he would spend time with you and his son. Yeah. Which he did sometimes. Like, you know, I met his son and spent time with him or whatnot. But looking back, it was all about him. Yeah. And then probably, like, the last year or so, like, I've really been trying, I did break it off with him a month ago officially. Yay. 30 days officially yesterday.
Yeah, that's amazing. We celebrated sobriety.
I'm proud of you.
Boy B.
Have you heard the song Clean by Taylor Swift? Well, she's talking about our relationship, and one of the lines she says is, 10 months sober, I must admit, just because you're clean don't mean you don't miss it. And well, that's just true for so many things, but
it is.
Yeah, I didn't know it was so recent.
Yeah. Like I said, I've been trying to break it off for like last year, but he would always like say the right thing. Like I would break it off and be like, I'm done. Like I can't anymore. And he would come back and say like, well, I'm sorry, or like I thought about this and this and that. Like I moved a year ago, like from where I lived in Whitestown to where I'm at now, and he, for like the last year, he's always like, well, you live so far and this and that. I'm like, it shouldn't matter where I live. Yeah. And I moved away, you know, to help my family because my dad had a heart attack last year. So I wanted to be closer to him and then still be kind of close to my mom. Yeah. And like the whole last year, like he just couldn't understand that until a couple months ago. He's like, you know, I thought about it and it's not like you're out of state. Like that was him trying to manipulate me to stay with him and everything. But a couple weeks ago, he finally told me, he's like, I know you might not want to hear this, but I'm going to be in a relationship with this girl. I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. I'm sorry.
Without really officially breaking things off. Like, you guys were still kind of on.
What the heck?
You need to tell her about when your dad had the heart attack, though. Like, what he did to you.
Yeah, so
or what he didn't do for you.
Right. So the night my dad had our heart attack, it was May of last year, during the height of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't be inside the hospital.
That's horrible.
I was sitting in a car at IUS by myself, like crying, like freaking out. And I called him and told him, and I was like, can you come? Like, I don't want to be out here alone. And because I just moved to the area, like I was still skittish about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm partying and I'm drunk and I can't drive. And I'm like...
But she could have Ubered to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the point you brought up. Like, if he really wanted to, he could have had a friend drive him, or he could have gotten an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's no excuse for that.
Well, what bothered me was I'm partying, as in I'm going to keep going after this conversation ends. I'm going to continue doing what I want to do without any consideration for you. Like, he could have, even if he can't afford an Uber or get a friend, he could have said, I can't get there, but I will stay on the phone with you this whole time.
Yeah, he didn't say anything redeeming.
He's just like, I hope your dad's okay.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, and then, like, would be yelling at a friend in the back or something like that. So.
That is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you were obviously manipulated in the relationship, but it's just, there's obviously so much psychological manipulation going on that it's hard for you to break it off. Mm-hmm. And I've never been in a relationship with a narcissist, so I can't really relate. But for me, I'm like, why didn't you end it then?
Yeah.
Because that's just awful. I can't imagine a person treating you like that.
Well, the thing with narcissists is they know your insecurities to a point, and they use them against you. Like, that's what I've read so far. So, like, they do a really good job at reeling their victims in, and they're so smart, and that's what people don't really give them credit for, is they are very smart, and they know exactly what to say to get under your skin, but also to pull you back in. So, like, they know exactly, like, what to say and what not to say. And it's very calculated.
It is. And both of them knew I don't have a great relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
Like, we've been working on it, but they both know, like, my dad was verbally abusive to me growing up and emotionally abusive. So...
And that kind of makes sense why you are...
used to, like, okay with getting treated like that.
Maybe even drawn to people who tend to do that because you love your dad.
Yeah.
Like, my dad, would be an asshole and, like, yell at me or, like, whatever. And then a couple weeks later, like, everything's fine. And then it's just a cycle, which I'm working on getting back into therapy to work on this now that I've identified it. But I think that's probably why I was with Boy A and Boy B for so long.
Yeah. That's
honestly
probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
And then Boy B, I just want you to very, like, briefly talk about, like, from Valentine's Day to now, because it seems that's when it got super, like, toxic and on and off, and, like, what he, like, I don't want to, like, spoil the story, but when he asked you for something. I want you to talk, and what he, like, just, tell that story, because I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, so Valentine's Day comes around. He doesn't come over, which, whatever. So I'm, like, really starting to be like, okay, like, I need to end this. Like, I need to give him an ultimatum. Not, like, an ultimatum, but I need to be like, do you want this or not? Like, I need consistency, and if not, like, I'm ready to be done.
Yeah.
Get wiped clean. Which I did February 28th. Why I remember dates, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he said, he's like, I don't want a serious relationship. Like, I care for you and this and that, but not right now. I'm like, okay, like, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, he comes crawling back. And it's like, I miss you. Like, I've been thinking about you. Like, can I see you? Whatever. Because he knows I have friends in Noblesville, where he's from. But then April came around, and he really, like, laid it on thick. And he's like, I'm so in love with you. Like, I can't imagine my life without you. He's like, but I have these roommates, and that's why we're not living together, and this and that. And I'm like, I know, like, I'm in love with you too, but, like, you gotta, like, fix the situation. Like, I'm not gonna be put on the back burner anymore. Like, you need to man up and do something. So then his plan was to sell his house to get rid of the roommates, buy a house, like, up in Tipton, and he, like, wanted to be out in the country and everything, because he knew I love the country. He knew I loved trucks, so he bought a truck. Like... He totally changed himself to what I loved and adored.
Except for the illicit activities.
Yeah. That was never a thing with us. I never agreed with it, and he knew that, and that was definitely one of the things that would never make us work.
Yeah.
But, so he's thinking about buying a house, right? He calls me one night, and he's like, can I borrow $2,500? And I'm like...
After you guys, like, he did not want a relationship.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't have that money.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think I do. He knows I have student loans out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Like... And he's like, well, I'll give you my AR as collateral and stuff. He's like, but I have to have all this money up front to pay for inspections and this and that. And like, and I'm in real estate. And I didn't think it sounded right, which I checked. And part of it was right, but part of it wasn't.
Yeah.
And the thing was, like, he was still spending money on other stuff. So I was like, if you had kept all that money, you could have been saving. Because I asked him, I was like, do you have any money in savings? He's like, no, I have nothing. He was just irresponsible.
Wow. Yeah. Sounds like a child.
And I think, like, by me telling him no about that is probably, like, one of the biggest factors, like, why he chose this other girl, supposedly, to go with.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And then this girl that was his roommate, that was just a friend, also got him a Valentine's that you saw, right? In the back of his car.
What?
Yeah.
I was in his truck one time, and there was a teddy bear in the back, and it was a white teddy bear with a red heart, and it said, our first Valentine's Day. And I was like, who was that?
After he wouldn't spend Valentine's Day with you.
And
that was like, why?
Yeah, well, I was trying to be nice, but call him out. I'm like, oh, was that for your son? Because he just got full custody of his son, which I helped him with. But anyway, and he's like, no, he's like, it was for a friend and this and that. It was a joke and whatever. So the second time I got in his truck and I still saw it, I'm like, why? Like, what's up with that teddy bear? Like, I was done. And he's like, well, I bought it from my roommate and she didn't want it, so now I just have it here. And I was like, so you don't have it here for no reason.
Yeah, and he never got you a
No.
Valentine's gift, but he got it for a roommate.
No.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, that's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He finally did, like, take the bear down and give it to his dog as, like, a chew toy. So I don't know if he was trying to prove something or whatever.
Did the dog tear the eyes out?
No. The dog was too nice. It was a puppy, so it was very, like, it wanted to cuddle more than it wanted to tear it up.
Oh. Well, those are amazing stories. Do you have a new resolve for the next people you date?
Yes. They have to have a college education.
That's a good requirement.
These last ones haven't, and I think that'll make a difference.
Yeah.
And they have to be family oriented because neither of these guys, like, wanted to spend time with my family or, like, do things as a family.
Thing. Yeah.
Because they both came from broken homes.
Yeah.
And I thought, I could fix it, and clearly I couldn't.
Yeah.
So the next people guy has to be family oriented and driven and have ambitions and be responsible and
I think that's great.
Yeah.
And I hope you find somebody who treats you right and not like those people.
Yeah, and we're gonna look for some red flags that are like, if he makes a joke about murdering you, maybe he's not the one.
Yeah, maybe. No. Maybe not.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah, okay.
It's a deal breaker.
Right.
Let's hear the first one.
So we're going to play, not really a game, but I'm going to, we have a list of 10 signs you're dating a narcissist, and you're going to say A for boy A, B for boy B, and then you're just going to, if it's both, you'll be like, oh, A and B, or neither. Like I said, I have a feeling this is going to be like, yeah. And if you need, they have a little paragraph under it, so if you need more of a explanation of what this means, just let me know.
Okay.
So, loves to talk about oneself.
Both A and B.
Okay. This one really caught my attention. Charming and romantic, but with a catch.
Both A and B.
Yep. Lack of reliability and follow through.
Both A and B times 10.
They're both getting an A+.
Right? They're doing
Not
so good at this test. This is a test you want to fail. Okay, instant gratification, which means that they expect their needs to be fulfilled instantly.
Both A and B.
Okay. Rule breaker and boundary violator.
Both A and B.
Okay, this is easy.
You have a type.
Yeah. Entitlement.
Temporary type.
Yeah. Yes, we're getting rid of that. Entitlement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Both A and B.
Okay. manipulation.
Both A and B.
Interesting. Constantly puts others down.
See, that's where it gets tricky because they would put me down, but they were all about other people.
Well, I think that's kind of what a lot of narcissists do, but I'll read a quick snippet from the article. In order to put up a facade of superiority and disguise hidden insecurity and inadequacy. How do you say that word?
Inadequacy. Yes.
Some narcissists will constantly put other people down to boost their own desirability and acceptability. So, like, they would use words like inferior, incompetent, clueless, flawed, like, and they would really talk bad about their previous partner.
Yeah, both A and B.
Okay. Okay. Reacts negatively when you don't give them what they want.
Both A and B.
Okay. Last one. Lack of commitment to a serious relationship.
Both A and B.
Yeah, so
You're right.
Our listeners, if you have any red flags and, like, you go through this list, you're probably dating a narcissist. If they get like 8 out of 10, get out.
And you might want to reassess.
Yeah, I think the thing is, like, it'd be different if either boy A or B were trying to get help, like, and understood what they were doing.
Well, boy B, remember, he was getting help.
Yeah,
at the VA. But I don't think he took it seriously, and he wouldn't be consistent or take his medicine.
So he was in the military as well?
Yeah. He's a veteran.
So
that is scary.
You don't need to be with anyone that's a veteran. Shout out to our veterans. They're great.
Yeah, I love the
But
military.
it just seems like you have a bad track record with veterans.
At least these two do.
Yeah. So, like you said, I think a college education is good. Because while you don't need a college education to be a responsible human, it's just, like, an easy way to, like, know that someone's, like, at least...
They can...
You know how to treat people.
Yeah, like... Because you've had to be in a social setting for at least 4 years.
Well, I don't know about treat people because I know some assholes with college
That
degrees.
is true.
But at least it shows, you know, a certain level of commitment, maybe.
That is true, because you do have to commit to get that degree. So.
But So those were amazing stories. I'm sorry that you had to go through them. That sounds scarring. But I'm glad that you, I don't know, you obviously learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
And
you discovered a lot about yourself, too.
I did.
Yeah.
It was the worst years of my life, but probably the best, honestly.
Yeah.
And I've had really good friends like Rebecca to listen to all my craziness and still be there for me.
I live vicariously through you.
Through all my crazy.
Becca's the best. She's like the most normal, steady,
I don't know about
person.
all of that, but thank you.
I mean, you're just a great friend.
Well, thank
you.
Are.
Always
Thank you.
reliable.
I try. You know, we do our hibachi and wine nights. It's a good time.
Yeah.
You're always there for me in the podcast, and I'm sure we can both agree that you're not a narcissist.
I would hope not. And if I ever could display any narcissistic tendencies, let me know.
Oh, I will. For sure.
She can identify them.
You're gonna have, like, instead of like a whistle, you'll have like a bell. It's like the narcissist bell.
Yeah.
That you ring whenever someone gives you a red flag, or you can get a little flag.
I could be like, oh, red flag.
Yeah, like on a date with a guy, just pull a red flag out of your purse. This is over.
No, I'm just gonna like do like what the referees do and pull it out of my pocket and like throw it out and be like, bye,
and then walk out.
Yep.
There
That's
you go.
your next plan.
I think heck, go through them. Don't waste a year on.
Yeah. No more wasted time.
Yes.
On narcissists.
Yes. Well,
I guess we should read our misconnection.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready?
Where's this
First,
at?
I guess we should ask you, do you have any final thoughts or advice to people in a narcissistic relationship?
I would say I know it's hard and I know you feel like you can't get out, but listen to your friends when they tell you that you've changed and that your relationship's not okay, because they see clearly and you're not seeing clearly. So listen to people that love you.
Yeah, and
That's good advice.
to piggyback off that, I think if a guy is getting mad at you for telling your friends about situations going on, like venting to them, that's like a really big red flag. Because if they, like, I mean, everybody has fights, and I don't think you need to tell your friends about every petty fight.
Yeah.
But if you're, like, just venting to them about problems or problematic behaviors and they're mad about that, I think that's, like, a huge red flag, too. Because your friends can identify things sometimes way more clearly than you can.
Yeah.
So
I think that was a good piece of advice.
mm-hmm.
All right, are you ready?
Ready.
Yes.
This one is called Chicago Pizza in Franklin. This was in Franklin, Indiana.
Ooh.
I was the bearded man having dinner with my daughters. You sat down in a booth with a man. Our eyes met several times. I wasn't sure if he was your date or not, but you seemed to be more interested in me. I am very attracted to you. If you're reading this, tell me what I took from my daughter and put on my face. I know you saw me do it.
Interesting.
I thought that part was creepy.
Yeah, I
bit,
really
yeah.
want to hear like what this man took from his daughter and put on his face. Like,
Pepperoni?
I was about to say like a pepperoni, like on his nose or
Glasses?
I don't know.
Those are my guesses.
Yeah.
You could,
Interesting.
if you wanted, you could just respond to that Craigslist
Mhm.
ad and take a guess.
Yeah.
something.
See if you're right.
I should.
That's true.
I
Do it.
should be like
Do it.
pepperoni. And also, are you a narcissist because you believe that this person is way too into you?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming
Yes,
on.
thank
Thanks for
you.
having me, guys.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
fun.
I really appreciate it. I know we're not that big at all, but I really enjoyed hearing your stories. So-
Yes, I think a lot of people can relate. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I don't know about the tracker situation.
I hope not many people can relate to that,
That-
but like
Certain
Other
aspects.
stuff.
yes, aspects of this story.
Yes,
Are
I'm
very
sure they
relatable.
can. All right. Well, until next week, I guess we'll see you then.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, it's Bekah.
Hey, it's Maddie.
Thank you so much for listening to the Basic Bee podcast.
Follow us on the gram at basicbpod.
And join our private Facebook group linked in the episode notes.
Be sure to catch our next episode and leave us a nice review.
Until then, stay basic.
Bye, bees.